Hello, seekers. Welcome to your Tuesday free weekly general reading here for the collective. This reading is going to be the extended reading of the pick a pile, meaning if you picked pile 1, this reading will be for you. If you picked pile 2, this reading will be for you. Let's dive into the messages from Source, from the universe, from the energy of the collective, and let's see what messages are awaiting for you. We're going to go ahead and go over each pile cards first as a review, and then we'll go into the reading, okay? Timestamps are listed below, so be sure to check that out as well. Alright, so for the card review for pile 1, we have heart healing, conflict, healer, as well as fertility. We also have happy family, strength, angel of strength, angel of balance, angels coming through, the world, conduit, and commodification. Alright, for our pile 2 pickers, we have the shadow, letting go, spiritual awakening, angel of love, door to romance, door to personal healing and happiness, contract, as well as shadows and ships. Okay, pile 1, let's go ahead and go over your cards. The first set of cards we have here are fertility, healer, conflict, as well as heart healing. So I'm definitely sensing that there's, just as pregnancy and fertility would foretell, there's something growing inside of you energetically. You know, maybe it is your gifts, maybe it is your confidence, maybe it is just the way of being in a new lifestyle coming about that's bringing you into balance. Hence, we are officially into Libra season now, and we are also in retrograde season, which is really that final push that's pushing us into being the sovereign self we are meant to be. And we can't be the sovereign self if we don't have balance. So Libra season is definitely going to be something having to do with birth of new relationships, right? Fertile relationships, fertile connections with the self. I'm also seeing the healer. So you're being guided by your angels, by source, by the universe, by God, by the creator, that you definitely have the healing hand. You have a healing gift, right? So there's no sense in birthing a new reality for yourself, as we have here the fertility card, if you do not accept these gifts. Also, Numite is a great stone to be working with as well when it comes to healing. It's very good matched with Moldavite. So if you are a brave soul and you are using Moldavite, I suggest pairing it with a grounding stone, Numite. It's also known as a philosopher's stone, which is pretty cool, by the way. All right, so we have conflict here. So I'm also seeing a clearing, which is, even though I know this is a very tense card in itself, conflict, you see the crystal, how it looks, real sparse and jagged. Even though you may have been recently facing some conflicts lately, I see it being cleared out for you as you are rebirthing a new reality for yourself and you're accepting the path of a healer. So there's no need to really be obsessing over what conflicts may arise, because as long as you trust your inner self and your inner guidance, you'll be completely fine. Because I'm sure whatever does come through, especially now with the retrograde season, whatever's being asked to be cleared out will be cleared out. Okay, this is a part of your path. The heart healing. So with the heart healing, I'm also seeing here that everything really has to do with emotion-wise. It's not so much about setting a practical foundation here in the earth realm. This is something having to do with love energy. Then again, you may have been wounded in the past many times, and you weren't probably open, not really to relationships at all, maybe not even the relationship with yourself, because you were very scared to be your solidified self here, as we have the fertility card, as I mentioned. but you learn to love the conflict, and that in itself induces heart healing. The cards we have here are Happy Family, Angel of Strength, Angel of Balance, just like I was saying. Yeah, balance, and the World. Okay, so with the rainbow here, it does also make me think much of, what's at the end of the rainbow? Pot of gold, right? Which is fertile in itself, which is abundance in itself. I'm seeing whatever you're going to have to pull through. An angel, maybe a guide, if you believe in that, some embodied soul is guiding over you and watching over you right now. And they are making sure to help you in the spirit world. This means they are protecting over you, and they are reminding you of the strength you do harness in yourself. If you ever feel like you feel like crumbling, you know what I mean? You also have an angel here who is coming through, who's also signifying to you that balance is very important right now, as well as maintaining a healthy relationship with yourself so that you can further ensue it into the relationship with others. The World here, this World card right here, I'm seeing that maybe in the recent past, you were very much the kind of person who was like, it's me against the world. Like, the world doesn't care about me. This, and that. And that may be true to a fault because, yes, come on. You got to admit there are very selfish people out there who really don't care about your needs emotionally and who can't meet your needs emotionally or physically. Right? And this all has to do with trauma. And I think you start to learn that in the spiritual path, is that most times, if ever, when somebody is doing something brash or they're neglectful in any way, if emotionally, physically, whatever the case may be, that's when they're asking for love the most. Sometimes we don't know how to ask for love, and we don't know how to be connected without disconnecting ourselves from others. And that's like honestly the biggest cry we could ever do when it comes to us being human. So realizing this on the spiritual path can also help strengthen bonds in your life. Right here we see a happy family together. This could be family wise, this could be friendship wise, just connecting even to a stranger, just understanding we are all just human and we do make mistakes, and we also are capable of fixing our mistakes by changing our perspective on life. And that means changing our perspective on how we view other people's trauma, realizing that we are human. For the last two cards we have here is Commodification and Conduit, and I'm actually going to read these out of the booklet for you. Alright, for Commodification we have a wildness refined and commodified. Society gives us options to present ourselves under the film of capitalism. You don't need to package yourself to look polished and quote-unquote presentable. Your wildness is what is beautiful about you. Be your freaky little messy self. That's funny. I like that. That's a good one. Yeah, it's really just honing in on who you are at the most wildest parts of you that you can be. And being authentic like that is what really draws authentic and more balanced relationships into your life. The next card we have is the Conduit. So you serve as a bridge from otherworldly information to the human race. Yeah, being a conduit is basically that. It is more important than ever to express the ideas and images you may be seeing in your mind's eye. Yes, do not be afraid of your healing gifts. So you may be clairvoyant in some sense. You maybe have a lot of visions that come through randomly, like in hindsight, while you're daydreaming or dreaming at night. So please share these visions is what Source is asking you. It's good for you because it's healthy to express your power, basically. Also know that whenever you express your visions and your talents or whatever messages that do come through from Source, whether it be automatic writing, whether it be scrying, whether it be dream work, whatever the case, or clairaudience, whatever messages you hear, share it with the universe and our collective, because this causes that ripple effect that we would need in order to progress our collective consciousness. It's very important for you to do so now. But yeah, this concludes this pile 1 reading. Let's go ahead and move into pile 2. All right, pile 2s, let's go ahead and dive into your message. We have the shadow, letting go, as well as spiritual awakening. Yeah, so just like with pile 1s, I'm also seeing that you, whoever picked pile 2, is definitely going through the ringer when it comes to shadow work. Black obsidian would very much be recommended right now, as well as black tourmaline here. And to amplify the effects, yes, definitely use crystal quartz. I have a sense you're letting go of a recent past, because retrogrades are basically that push, especially the Mercury retrograde when it comes to communications with certain people or relationships, is about letting go of the outcome, right? And just allowing the shadow parts of ourselves to really just flow through, come to the surface so that we can assess them, accept them, and move forward. So this is definitely what spiritual awakening is about. And I feel like right now is something that you cannot escape. This isn't something that you can just be like, oh, I could put it off for later. There's honestly, when it comes to retrograde season with all the planets that are in retrograde right now, there's no sense of putting things off for later. This is basically that hint from the universe that the work you're going through, all the shit that you're going through right now, is definitely a part of your spiritual awakening path. There's no such thing as, unnecessary events happening. I see that all this purging coming up to the surface for a reason. So let's dive into what this reason may be. Contract, door to healing and happiness, angel of love, excuse that card, and door to romance. Yeah, you're clearing out these old ways of being, because it's a part of a soul contract here. This is something that you may have possibly agreed to before incarnating here on earth. I know it sounds impossible to believe, but believe me, it's very possible. We are conscious beings living in a physical, motorized body. So, I mean, the soul is a very immaculate thing. So how else would we know what more than we already know before being born? We also have door to personal healing and happiness. So I sense whatever shadow work you're doing right now, the universe is definitely going to bless you to find new doors to your happiness, to your abundance. I mean, the universe isn't a cruel thing. They give you what you give. So when you're actively working on yourself and going into the depths and actually just letting go of the old self, it inches you even closer to the door and finally to be able to get to the door that you've always wanted to be at, right? So this discipline that you have here for yourself is definitely showing to the universe, to your guides, and I feel like you're being led also by the angel of love along your spiritual awakening. Love of the self, love of others, as well as love coming into your life, because I see door to romance here. So also you have an opportunity to walk into a door that's also going to supply you with a love of a lifetime, a very sacred union I see here, maybe, because it also talks about contracts, considering you're already going through the shadow work. I don't see this as a karmic kind of contract. I see it as definitely as a divine union. So you are doing some really, really heavy work in order to obtain this divine union. Let's go ahead and see the last cards we have here. Yeah, shadows, definitely digging shadow work. And ships. Yeah, you're sailing onto new horizons. You're moving through different waters and you're allowing these waters to carry you. And when it comes to spirituality, water represents the emotions, right? And when it comes to our emotions, it can be just as vast as the ocean, right? We are honestly just one drop, but just remember, even one drop of water of the ocean is still the ocean. It makes it up. How else would the ocean exist? So you're just as vast and deep than you would like to give yourself credit for, but I want you to be reminded that the universe is telling you, you have to sail through these emotional, rigid parts of yourself, because let's be honest, the ocean isn't always calm, right? So we have to go through even the craziest of waves and storms that do happen on the ocean to get through to our final, if not final, most loving parts of ourselves. So let's go ahead and read what these cards have to say from the guidebook. Let's see. So we have shadows, which is 52. All right, for shadows. In the metaphysical and healing community, many focus purely on light work without having proper space for shadow work. We need our shadows. It is our natural balance. Yeah, indicating balance here again for Libra season coming in. And we also have the new moon coming up, setting intentions on what we need to balance about ourselves in order to heal. You can't always have good days, and that's okay. We need to accept that. We need to accept that we can have a break. That's okay. We're not being lazy. Our lowness also brings a new frame of reference through which we live our lives. Why is there shame in feeling sad, bad, or low? You are allowed to have these times. In fact, they are often necessary to process events in our lives. Exactly. So in order to get through your shadow work, in order to clear out the karma, you have to allow yourself to feel bad and feel low. If you avoid it, that's spiritual bypassing yourself. And then it's just going to come back stronger and stronger, and it's going to inch you further away from this door that you really, your soul really calls out to. And trust me, you don't want that. All right, ships here. The open water is calling. It could be called to travel, move forward, and leave the past behind. This means even just burning off things that are from, like, I don't know, like a long ass time ago that you don't need to be having up in your room anymore. I know I did that personally. I burned a lot of stuff recently where I was like, you know what? I don't need this anymore. It's good. Let me burn it off. And, let's move forward. So this could be about exploring, your emotional waters, it says here, and to venture into the vast unknown. Yeah, really surrendering to what could be a possibility and not really worrying about the outcome is the biggest blessing you can give yourself. That surrender and trust with the universe and your path and your higher self and God really signifies not only to yourself, but to the universe that you trust your path, you trust where you're going. Like, you're never really left astray. And even though at times it may feel like you're alone, you're never alone. That's what the universe wants you to know. So take the road to nowhere. In this case, it's not a road, it's a ship. You don't know where you're going, and that's okay. And that doesn't affect your drive to go forward. You still have that optimism, that hope, in order to go to trudge through emotional waters. So, definitely go forward with this. I think this concludes your reading pile too. I hope this has found resonance with you. Thank you so much for joining today's Pick a Pile reading. I really hope that this found resonance with you and maybe some clarity as well. I do enjoy doing these pick a piles for you. I also enjoy doing personal readings, so I am open for personal readings. If you like a personal reading done by me, Mystic Seeker, aka Elaine, I would love to do them for you. Just go ahead and check out the description box below. I also am open for commissions as well because I am an artist, and a lot of my messages do come through from source through my artwork, which is already something in itself. But if you want something specific, I'm your girl. I mean, I just did a recent portrait for somebody who wanted a portrait of their dad, which makes me happy. I love doing portraits for people. I love painting for you guys. So just go ahead and let me know if you're interested in any of my services, and I will get back to you shortly. I have contact information down in the description box below. I really hope that you have a balanced and blessed and beautiful week, and I will see you next time. Bye, Seekers. Take care.